Hey everyone, Ed Burton here again, and there has been a lot of controversy over a certain performance in a certain movie. And from the title, you all know what it is: Russell Crowe's performance as Javert in the movie Les Miserables. And that is a movie I really enjoyed. In 2012, it was my second favorite movie of the year. I really enjoyed Les Miserables, my second favorite movie of 2012, first being Lincoln, but I digress. So, a lot of people don't like Russell Crowe's voice, and a lot of people do. It's something very polarized. It's something that either you really love or you really hate, for many different reasons. People love it, but come to terms with that Russell Crowe doesn't have a very good singing voice. If you heard him sing before, as I have, he's not bad. He's a solid singer, I think. He's a pretty good singer, in my opinion. But many felt that his voice just wasn't up to par. In in a very hostile way, people are saying that his voice wasn't up to par with ones of Philip Cast and those that have done Javert on stage, on Broadway, on for the play. It's not supposed to be. It's Russell Crowe and Tom Hooper, the director, both stated that they wanted Russell Crowe's voice to be more raspy, more rough, more deep, more kind of dirty, in many ways, kind of uh, purposely not up to par as other people in the movie, such as Hugh Jackman, Anne Hathaway, uh, and the singing isn't as good as the play, but again, it's not meant to be. It's supposed to be more realistic. It's supposed to be more humanistic. It's supposed to be much more grittier, much more, much more, humanized, which I do like. That's one of the best qualities of the movie. And Russell Crowe, I'll say right here, I loved his performance. I thought he was the shining performance in the movie. Now, before you hit the back button, let me explain why. Okay, and if you didn't like him, doesn't mean you're an idiot, doesn't mean, this and that and that and this. Everyone likes things for different reasons. There's certainly two sides to every story. I get why people don't like it. Believe me, I understand. It's not the best singing voice in the world, but the reason I like it, you know, is because of the way it sounds. It just sounds so imperfect, uh, but at the same time, you can. Russell Crowe acknowledges that, and he uses that to his advantage and creates his own Javert. He creates it his own type of character. He wanted to do that with the character. He wanted to get away from the Philip Cast kind of character Javert from the play, because the play has many faults. And this movie fixed them, but at the same time, this movie fell into some of those problems. It's not the perfect movie. It had its problems, just like every other movie does. But it was my second favorite movie it was my second favorite movie of 2012. But back to what I was saying. Russell Crowe, I enjoyed him more than anyone else in that movie. That includes Hugh Jackman. That includes Anne Hathaway. That includes uh, Amanda Seyfried. That includes all those talented actors. I'm not saying anyone did bad. Everyone had a great performance. There wasn't one bad actor, I don't think, in that movie. Um, but uh, the reason I like Russell Crowe so much is his command on screen. His command is just brilliant. When you look at this guy, you see, okay, that is a guy that's a soldier, that's for the law, and when he says, in the movie, uh, "I'm the laws and the law is not marked," uh, you believe it. You believe he follows the law to his core. You believe that the reason why he came to terms with what he did was because of the other aspects. You believe it more. In the play, I didn't believe Philip Cast was Javert. At least in the 10th anniversary one, I thought he was a guy playing Javert. Uh, with Russell Crowe, I believed he was Javert. I liked him a lot because, again, like I said, his command is just brilliant. I mean, when you look at this guy, he just has a posture and a presence to him that not many other actors could have had. He's he has great posture. He has a great voice, great deep, very kind of commanding voice. And that was the point of the movie. It wasn't supposed to be smooth. It wasn't supposed to be, you know, like walking that kind of straight line. It was supposed to be very, very rough, very tough, very, like I said, like I alluded to earlier, very, raspy, very, deep. It's supposed to be that because it fits the character. It makes more sense. It's more realistic that a character like that has that kind of voice. That was Tom Hooper's goal, to make this play realistic, gritty, very dark, very, not like any other play. And that's what he did. And he succeeded very much, in my opinion. And Russell Crowe succeeded creating his own Javert. Whether you like him or not, a lot of people didn't like him because of the way his voice sounds, and because it does sound a little awkward, because it does sound a little how can I put this? A little not perfect. It imperfected. It doesn't sound fantastic to listen to. You wouldn't go on your iPod, put in your iPod ears, and like, oh, where's that Russell Crowe music? You wouldn't do that. You would, and I think that was the point. I think that was what they were going for, where, you could cherish it more, to where if it's not there all the time, he's in the movie a lot, and he sings a lot, but the way he just does it, no one else could have gotten away with it, in my opinion, other than Russell Crowe, because Russell Crowe just had that presence to him. He had that commanding tone to his voice. He was deep in that role, and I believed that he was Javert. I didn't see Russell Crowe playing Javert. I saw Javert, and I saw a man by the law, and I saw a man that follows the law to his core. He died before breaking the law, which I really do like. And he's not perfect. I mean, he is not perfect. There are a few hiccups there that's like, ooh, that sounded bad. It does sound a little awkward at times, like where the One Day More segment where he said, we will join these people heroes, we will follow where they go, we will learn their little secrets, we will know the things they know. It's not sang with much emotion, it's just sung with a commanding tone to it. It's kind of sung very awkward, but I still enjoyed it because that, to me, is how a soldier would sing. It just sounds more realistic, his voice, than Phil Cast and all them. It may not sound as better, it just sounds, to me, more realistic. So, do I hate Russell Crowe in Les Miserables? No. I thought he was a shining performance. I thought his voice was very, not subtle, but realistic. No one's voice in that movie was subtle, in my opinion, except maybe Anne Hathaway. She did very good, but everyone else always had a kind of hiccup in the movie. It kind of, every time they sang at least once, I was like, oh, that sounded bad. Even with Russell Crowe, Anne Hathaway is really the only one where, even her, I thought, ooh, that sounded bad. But again, it's actors that really haven't had formal training like opera singers doing this, and that was Tom Hooper's point. He wanted to have it sung live, no auto-tune, no dubbing, none of that, just sing it live, you get what you get, and it becomes more realistic that way, and it feels much more subtle when you hear the singing like that, you would think, people that haven't seen the movie, you would think, oh, well, entire movie's sung, well, that sounds out of place, that sounds annoying, that sounds obnoxious. And if you don't like musicals, if you hate musicals, if you even dislike musicals, you're not gonna like this movie. And for the reasons I just said, you'll find it obnoxious, annoying, but I don't mind musicals. I enjoy musicals. I like them. They're not the best genre of movie in the world. They certainly have a lot more bad movies than they do good movies, and a lot of musicals aren't being made. But at the same time, this is probably one of my favorite musicals, Les Miserables, just because of how realistic it was, and because they took a chance of singing the whole movie live with the actors they had, with the settings they had, and they made Les Miserables come to life on screen. They made I mean, really, yeah, they made Les Miserables come to life on screen, and I can appreciate that. And I can appreciate that while you know, I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I can appreciate it. Yeah, yeah. And while I appreciate it, there are still a few problems. Uh, but every movie has problems, And while genre of movies, while musicals aren't my favorite genre of movie, they aren't bad. Again, I love all genres of movies. I love all genres of movies, with the exception of action. Action is kind of dull, but I digress. If they bring something else to the action, then yeah, sure. But if it's just simplistic action, no. But I digress. But yeah, I enjoyed Russell Crowe, and a lot of people are going to disagree, but I really did enjoy Russell Crowe's performance because of his monotone, because of how he sounded, because of his presence on screen, because of how he controlled every scene he was. When you look at someone in that scene, every scene he was in, when you look at a big crowd, you completely look at Russell Crowe because of his presence, and because he's kind of out of place. He doesn't really fit in with the rest of the actors. He's kind of like the outcast in that group, that cast. But that's what makes it all the more special, because you can appreciate it more, and you can tell he's really trying, and you can tell he's accomplishing something, at least what he wants to accomplish. And I thought he accomplished and made Javert his own role and his own character, and that Javert was my favorite interpretation. I should interpret that better. Russell Crowe's Javert was my favorite interpretation of Javert ever. And again, I love the movie. Second favorite movie of 2012. Les Miserables was my second favorite movie of 2012. I may be biased, but not about Russell Crowe, because I love Russell Crowe. Thought he was the shining performance. I thought he accomplished something, and I think whether you like him or hate him, you'll always remember his role. So give me your thoughts. Let me know what you thought of Russell Crowe as Javert. Subscribe. More videos on the way. Thanks for tuning in.